Hello everyone, welcome to part 2 of the podcast with Anahata, and we're outside this time and it's actually beautiful morning here in Sedona. Can you tell us a bit about where we are at the moment?
Welcome to this podcast. Look at these epic views. We're in Sedona. Right behind me here is Dead Man Passes, and this is Long Canyon. And on your post, you have to post this 360-degree pano view is
Sure.
epic. And so we're here to just experience this morning. It took you into a couple cool caves and cliff dwellings. And there's an ancient medicine wheel here. This is native land. And, just behind us here is Boynton Canyon. So the Indians lived back in there hundreds of years ago. And this is powerful land. And it's filled with crystals, like all over the place. We've been walking, and there's filled with crystal geodes here. And this land behind us is 100 million years old up at the top. And this has been under the ocean 6 times, ice ages, and so there's a lot of vortexes here in Sedona that are emitting some powerful energy. So
you may be able to see everyone, like there's specks of the crystals all throughout the rock here. It's quite phenomenal. Like everywhere you look, there's these like glittery type specks throughout, and it's quite amazing to witness and to actually look at. We thought we've been chatting about a lot of different things. It's been quite a
we have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been quite an interesting few days. We thought we'd have a bit of a chat about lineages and work on healing through our ancestral lines, and that's something that we've both got a huge common interest in. And I feel like everyone out there knows we've come at a time now. We've been given this opportunity in this generation to really be able to not only work on ourselves, but also repair a lot of the suffering and pain that has been perpetrated in the past, and put a stop to it, really. And I think it's something that's really pertinent to discuss and talk about. And what's your, understanding of it, or sort of knowledge or work of where you see it and where you're at with it, and how to...
I think that there's something really powerful about the bloodline and the cultural line that we've been born into, and that we've chosen as a soul level, as the classroom for our soul to grow in, and so that shifts the perspective from being a victim of my parents or my grandparents or my culture or my religion that I was born into, whatever that is, and it kind of shifts it into, I attracted this to learn something, and that there is value in the in every classroom and every teaching. And some of us have experienced in our bloodline abuse or addiction, abandonment, or death at an early age. A parent leaving or dying, or incarceration. There's lots of different classrooms, and there's lots of different options and different teachings. And I think that what I've found common is that this soul agreement that we have with our parents and grandparents is that some of the things that are going to be passed to us are going to be to show us what to do. Some characteristics, some creativity, some freedom, some wisdom, some way of being, whether that's loyalty, whether that's devotion, whether that is hard work, whether that is creativity, whatever it is, that there's one part of the puzzle that we're going to be given that come from a few of the pieces that our parents or grandparents have given us. It might be about spirituality. They might have it might have been devotion to religion, and that way we get to experience some of that. And so in that way, we have a couple of the puzzle pieces, but there's still a lot of missing pieces. It's never that our parents and grandparents are supposed to give us all of that, because we're a different soul, and we're in a different generation. Even siblings, I'm going to need different puzzle pieces than my sibling, even though we're close in age and have common interests. Each of you and your siblings are going to need to find your own puzzle pieces. So the first thing is kind of receiving, what pearls did I get? from my bloodline or from my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I think is really powerful, where most of us are missing the opportunity to see it as a gift, is where did my parents model something not to do?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, because it's occurred to me over the years, and I see hundreds and hundreds of clients every year, is that that modeling of what not to do is very viscerally powerful, because then I get to choose. Hell, I don't want to do that. I don't want to repeat that. And I've seen a lot of imprints that have come from violence or anger or addiction or betrayal or abandonment or whatever it is, lying, cheating, stealing. You know, there's so many wonderful ones to choose from. And I know you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You know what the puzzle pieces your parents gave you, and also where you're kind of looking, saying, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think I'll pass on that.
Definitely.
Or more importantly, I'll learn from it.
Yeah.
And the puzzle piece, the way it was given to me, I'm going to flip it.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to say, okay, if that's what excessive drinking looks like,
Yeah.
I think I might flip it.
Sure.
You know, if that's what not taking care of health looks like,
Yeah.
or being unfaithful, or quitting job, being a quitter, or you know, abusive, or not being accountable, or not being honest, if that's what it looks like, I'm going to viscerally learn that that's probably something that I don't want. And it can be so deep, the imprint, that we become really passionate about it. And actually, a lot of our soul purpose can come from those experiences. That says, okay, if I have been abused, then I'm going to maybe an advocate for bringing awareness around a childhood abuse, you know. And if I was on the receiving end of a lot of addiction, then I might choose sobriety.
Sure.
You know, and so we might still be throwing a tantrum about those pieces that were given to us, you know, upside down, twisted, or like hell no, that isn't right. And that's where we begin to make our own decisions.
Right.
Where we got to sense like, that's not it.
Yeah.
And that's when the will starts to mature and the individuality starts to mature. And that's our soul path. We need to know what pieces fit us, whether it's our friend giving that piece or a family member. Does that religion or that version of God fit me? Does that view of money, we were talking about monetary wealth, and you know, does that view fit me? And does that view of relationship, how your parents related, does, you know, what did I learn and what did I learn not to do? And so I think that there's 3 parts of it. 1, what did I learn? 2, what did I learn not to do? And then 3, which is I think very important, it also is, where do I need to find my own puzzle pieces?
Be my own person with
exactly. Totally different from what was modeled or not modeled.
Yep.
There's a whole part of the puzzle that is going to be determined not by your bloodline,
Sure.
not by your financial status or your culture or your religion that you were born into, but by you personally. Because then you can unchoose any of that, and this is where the soul listens to what really is my passion outside of the box of what I learned to do and what not to do. Where else do I need to go and explore in life my passions, my dreams, my truth, my version of spirituality, my version of health, my version of relationships? And I think a lot of times we get stuck in that, well, I didn't get these pieces from my mom and dad.
Right.
And so
Blame.
Poor me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they weren't traumatic, and there's a lot of healing that may need to happen from some of those experiences. But then let's move on and get to exploring those other pieces that are a fit.
Sure. Definitely.
And I think that's where we do the healing in the bloodline, because if we're to evolve, if we believe in evolution, and if we're to evolve, that means we have to experience outside and reach outside of the paradigm of what we've been taught. And that's where the growth comes. And that means I'm going to have to outgrow my parents' beliefs if I choose.
Sure.
Otherwise, I'm just participating in de-evolution.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, you have a role here to like step up and say, okay, well then let me explore new territory.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's really cool, because we have so many tools now. This generation has so many tools. We can quantum leap.
Yeah, very much so. I don't think we've got any excuse now, really, especially
That's
with
the scary thing.
Yeah, with the connectivity, and I mean that can be seen as being perhaps a disadvantage by some, but we've got so many, like you said, so many tools now to be able to really share our experiences and understand. Okay, well, my friend, they had this upbringing, and my romantic partner had this upbringing. What can I learn from that? But also, really, what occurred with me, and just to take a moment to step back and, okay, what things can I learn? Because I feel if we don't give ourselves that time, that moment to really understand and reflect upon our experiences, then we can't grow, we can't move from there. And I also think another pertinent thing to really look at is groundedness as well. Mm-hmm. Like if we've seen some different traits in our parents or our uncles, aunties, grandparents, and we know we want to change that, that can leave us in a space of like nothingness or unknowing, and to have some sort of grounding in that space so that we just don't end up repeating those same patterns of behavior is, I think, vitally important.
Yeah, I completely agree. And we were talking the other night about this ether down into earth.
Right.
So I can know something here. Oh, I know I shouldn't drink, or I know I shouldn't do that, or I can know something here, but that is just knowing.
Right.
Then I can speak about it, right? Then I can speak. That's air. What's
Sure.
the next level? Oh, then
Sorry to disturb you.
it's going to
guys.
be.
I've been joined by some guests for the podcast.
Enjoy. It's here for everybody. So then I can speak about it. Well, that's just air.
Yeah.
That's just talking about it. Then there's the fire. There's the fire. Then then that's like, now I'm taking action about it.
Sure.
Now I'm taking action. And then we move into the water element, where it's like, wow, where am I feeling this?
Yeah.
And then we move into earth.
Definitely.
And that's where we actually are grounding it into reality, because knowing something is very different than actually integrating the lesson from that trauma or that experience, actually taking the action steps and grounding it into your everyday reality.
Yes.
is totally different than just talking about it or knowing, oh, I know.
Sure.
That's this up here, and that's this. But there's something deeper about, am I embodying it?
Definitely, because it can only be like half the job done, perhaps, if it's understanding it, knowing it. It's then what you do with it afterwards. That's just as an important step. Yeah. Very much so.
So that's where we shift it into embodiment.
Sure.
And that's the harder journey.
Yeah.
Knowing it is easy, like dropping down into it. Well, that's a whole nother experience, and that's where the real work is, and we can't blame anybody.
Yeah.
Because we know, right? But then we're the ones in charge of our reality. We're the ones that say, am I going to change this bloodline of abuse or addiction? Am I going to take the action steps to do something different?
Sure.
And the cool thing is that now we have the tools. There's so many things to help us with heal from these patterns, but also to put something else in its place.
Yeah.
And so this is the exciting time to be alive, is because we're having quantum leaps in evolution within the bloodline now.
Yes.
Where it's not about what happened hundreds of years ago or just a couple generations ago, but I'm in charge of my life. What my dad did or my grandmother did or didn't do, decades ago, centuries ago, has nothing to do with the power of my choice, because now I'm the most powerful one in my bloodline right now, because I'm the one here in the body.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
They left an imprint. What's going to be my imprint?
Yeah.
What are my children? What am I going to pass to my children?
Yeah. What lessons? Yeah.
What lessons and what ways of being? How can I learn what not to do?
Yeah.
And how can I can bring my own magic and wisdom so that the bloodline evolves and improves at a quantum pace, which is super exciting.
Yeah. Because we are definitely, that's what leaves me so optimistic for the future, is that we are having these conversations, we are discussing this, and we are thinking about it. Like we have, I think Joe Rogan had this amazing bit in a podcast once with Amber Lyon, and he was talking about how our great grandparents taught a bunch of shit to their kids, and then they had heart attacks and died. Then our grandparents taught a bunch of shit to their, just through lack of knowledge, understanding. But now we've gone, hang on, wait. What are we doing? What we're going to war with this country, or we're allowing this suffering to happen, or we're actually stepping back and thinking about it in a manner that we've never really done before. But a lot of that takes an understanding of the past, an understanding of our family history, our ancestry, our lineages, to be able to really move forward properly.
Well, and a lot of our ancestors in the time that they were living were in struggle.
Right.
You know, and survival. When you're in survival, where you don't know where your next meal coming from,
Good
your
point.
behavior changes.
Yeah.
We're not in that place anymore.
Sure. No.
You know, we're not worrying
Yeah.
if we're going to be attacked in our sleep. We're not worried about whether or not famine is going to hit you or I today.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not what's keeping us awake at night. And whether or not the warring village, you know, the neighboring village is going to kill, you know, is going to attack us, or, you know, are we going to get through the winter?
Sure.
And so we're also looking at the history of the bloodline whose main focus was survival.
Yep.
And that's the lowest, that's the root chakra around stability. Do we have what it takes to survive?
Yeah.
Well, now as we evolve and we get stable in some of those places, where it's like I don't need to worry where my next meal is and, you know, all of that, then that opens up energy, creativity, and the mind to be thinking about, well, what can I dream into reality?
Right.
You know, and so giving some credit to those, you know, we're here with this level of freedom because, and are able here to speak about this because our bloodline, our grandparents and all on up the bloodline made some really hard decisions so that we could survive.
Yeah. Definitely.
So now our option is to say, okay, well, can I make their suffering worth it?
Sure.
You know, and now that I have the freedom and the safety that my bloodline maybe didn't have, what am I going to do with that freedom? Because now you can vote, you know, everybody can vote.
Yeah.
You know, now women and men can marry or not marry.
Yeah.
You know, you can have this religion or that religion.
Yep.
You know, you can start a business or not. You can go to get yourself educated. You know, there's courses online.
So many options.
There's so many options, and there's freedom that our ancestors fought for.
Yeah.
And so how can we take that work ethic of being strong and endurance, but now apply it with downloading and implementing the new paradigm?
Sure.
And realizing that the old paradigms were for that time and war was about survival. Well, now there's enough.
Yeah.
And so how can we be a part of cleaning up what we've inherited, you know, and how can we upgrade and bring new insights and new ceremonies and new traditions into our tribe today that can help bring in new ways of education and new parenting and, of course, a respect for Mother Nature and finding balance within yourself and within your community and your tribe to live more consciously because we have the tools now.
Yeah.
And if we're safe and grounded, then now we can open up these upper portals to be inspired to birth a new reality, which is it's so exciting.
Yeah.
Right?
In abundance, in real abundance. Abundance is there for us if
Absolutely.
we choose. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. For all as well. Definitely. Most definitely. Well, I feel just being a little bit mindful of my battery, but also the you know, just being able to really soak in these landscape here. We might wind up there, but yeah, it's very interesting times we're in, and I've got to say, Anahata, too, I would like to take this opportunity in front of everyone. I can't express enough how much of absolute honour it's been to spend this time with you, and what I've learnt and what I've been able to experience has been just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So I'm sure it's a friendship relationship that will carry long into the future. And again, like I said in the last one, guys, if you're coming out to Sedona, please, I can't recommend catching up with Anahata more enough. Strongly enough. It's just a wealth of knowledge as well, you know, and so thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
You know what? This is my office.
Yeah, what a beautiful office.
We were talking about unchoosing.
Yeah.
Right? And I unchose a totally different life. You know, the grind in New York City was just a couple decades ago, and you can unchoose. If there's a reality that isn't fitting you, you can unchoose.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and so you can choose whatever is nourishing for your soul. So thank you for choosing to listen to this today. And if you are listening, that's because there's something that you've chosen to receive today. There's some medicine, there's some pearl that's landing in your being. And so I trust that. I trust that implicitly. And I know that I'll meet you someday and expand the soul family. Just as you've come this far distance, you know, I'll come to Perth and to Australia and to meet my soul family there. But
Sounds good.
thank you so much, and lots of blessings. See you soon here in Sedona.
Thank you guys. See ya.